You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Good day to everyone. Welcome to the new. I'm your host, Randy Perm. I would tell you, oh my God, it's been a whirlwind of a week. The last 2 weeks, I would say, but definitely this last weekend. So I was out of town this weekend, so I apologize for Friday night absence. Had to catch a flight, so had to be deuces, and so I'm back. And by the grace of God, I am here with you tonight or today. Tonight for me because it's 7 p.m. my time over in luxurious Italy. Anyways, so but yeah, that's where we are, and wanted to just go over. It's a jam-packed show tonight, so I'm gonna just jump right into it and hit you with the facts, folks, and it's very important to understand the facts. The facts are the Patriots are 5-0. Yes, Patriots are 5-0. So there, there we go. We're done with that part. Okay, I got to rub it in some people's faces. But anyways, but no, on a serious tip, the um, the Ukraine probe, or I should say, the impeachment inquiry for President Trump, has spiraled out of control. Now there is a second second person coming forward to spill the beans, if you will, as to what they know in terms of President Trump's dealings with Ukraine, and now China is allegedly involved, with President Trump asking these two particular countries to investigate Joe Biden and his son, is it Hunter? Whatever his name is, Hunter Biden, into their dealings with this gas company in Ukraine that collapsed a few years back. So, folks, barring all of that that's going on, and this is being serious here. Barring all of that, we have to contextually think about what's going on here. What we're doing is trying to expose conversations, um, people that are privy to special information and what have you, to impeach or try to entrap a sitting president. Here's the problem with this. Once again, barring what the details may be, let's look at holistically the implications behind this. What you're saying to me is, because I don't like, or because we don't like this person, we are going to pull out all the stops to get this person out of office or to prevent them from being reelected. So therefore, we're going to concoct, because that's what it is at the end of the day. We already seen this with the Brett Kavanaugh case. It's quite identical, if you ask me. But anyways, we're going to concoct this story, which Adam Schiff concocted a story and he was called out on it. I already covered that piece a couple weeks ago. But nonetheless, we're going to concoct this story and say, hey, the president did this and it's illegal. Which, by the way, nothing in the book said that it's illegal that he did what he did. But, okay, fine. He's tampering or interfering with a potential candidate that happens to be in the opposition. Now, what if it was a person that was in the same party? Then what? Would the Democrats have a problem with it then? We don't know. What if President Trump decided to do this to somebody who's already in office that was not seeking re-election or doing anything else? We don't know. We don't know where this will unfold. However, or better yet, we don't know if they would be pursuing this if they actually like the guy. So, barring all of that, here's the problem I have with this whole these shenanigans. What we're saying is, and we're setting up a precedent that no one else is probably thinking about here. You're pursuing actions against a sitting president who, by the way, is executing his rights and duties as President of the United States covered under Article 2 of the United States Constitution, in which he has the privilege and the executive authority as the President of the United States, as a duly elected President of the United States, to negotiate and deal with foreign powers, treaties, and what have you. Okay? Now, we, as little peons on the bottom of the totem pole, we may not like the results, or we may not like what's being pursued, but nonetheless, that is his power that he is ordained by the U.S. Constitution. So we're going to negate the Constitution and say, the hell with that. We don't like this guy. We want him out of office. We're going to impeach him because he is colluding with foreign powers to investigate United States citizens that just so happen to be, running for office as well, a political opponent. And by the way, we're going to bring in people who work currently in his administration that could be constituted as spies or whatever else, or political oppositions in name only. And they're going to anonymously, no, I can never say that word, but you know what I'm saying. snitch and say that he did X, Y, Z. Now, here's the problem with that. As a president or as whoever you may be, any person in charge USA or in the world, you entrust certain people to be within your sphere of influence, within your circle, to be part of conversations, to take notes, to collaborate, to give advice and everything else. But in the same token, they have a hidden agenda to have a got you moment, poses a problem for the greater picture. Now that in itself, and I will agree with the president here on this point, that in itself could fall in line with treason. It could. Now, all the extreme other stuff that he said, no, okay. He's 72 years old. Uncle at the Thanksgiving dinner table, folks. That's all I can chuck it up to. But nonetheless, that's where we at with that. So now, also, Manhattan's district attorney decides to impose through the courts to get to force the president to release 8 years worth of his tax statements. There we go. Why 8 years? Seriously, why 8 years? If this is not a botch of charades at its finest, I don't know what is. You want the president of the United States. Now, we have to remember contextually that Congress and everybody else, ever since the 2016 elections, everybody's been like, oh, he needs to release his tax statements and everything else. At the end of the day, let's be real, folks. Let's just be real. Randy to Earthlings, wherever you may be. Let's be real. If I handed you a stack of tax documents, if it is not your profession, if it is not within your profession to read, understand, interpret, and whatever else, tax documents, then what difference does it make if you had access to someone's tax statements, especially in the business realm, if you don't own a business yourself and everything else? What difference does it really make? Now, they're going to take these tax documents and they're going to turn it over to some tax professional. I'm throwing a lot of quotes in there tonight. They're going to turn it over to some tax professional and they're going to say, oh, yep, he did this. Now, folks, let's be real. Let's Randy to Earthlings. If the IRS has access or has access and copies of his tax returns, and they went through it, looked at it, everything came out kosher in their books, in their minds, and they said, okay, yep, thank you, appreciate you, here's your refund, or you're not getting a refund this year. Whatever the result was from that, these last 8 years, mind you, not the last 40 years that he's been in business and doing stuff in the public eye. Screw those last years, but we just want the last 8 years. Okay? If the IRS did not trigger an alarm, what makes you think that it's going to trigger an alarm now? Unless they concoct something or find something that warrants a further investigation or a new investigation because it doesn't look right. Folks, don't get fooled, okay? Now, this is by no means a defense. I'm just giving you the real. Just think about it. If the IRS knocked on you, if anybody in America knocked on your door or subpoenaed your records and said, we want to see your tax returns for the last 8 years, whatever else, and you're like, okay. They get them and you look at it and you've been on the up and up, and you said, this is what I honestly filed within the best scope of my knowledge and whatever else, or what H&R Block did or TurboTax did or whatever. And they say, you got an error right here. You're going to jail. Come on, folks. We're setting really, really bad precedents here to try to do a aha or a got you thing towards somebody that you may not like. And we have to be careful with this because, once again, the tables will turn either in 4 years or in next year. The tables will turn eventually. And then next thing you know, now there's going to be this legislation saying that anybody that's running for office has to submit or open up their tax returns to the American people so they can evaluate, look at them, or whatever. Which, once again, it's not going to yield anything because 9 times out of 10, the average American, especially if you run a business, if you're a homeowner, or whatever, tax exempt for some reason. 9 times out of 10, the average American probably doesn't fall into those same categories, so they don't understand those dynamics in which you have different kind of tax breaks and everything else than they would. So they wouldn't even know what they're looking at. And this goes for the same for members in Congress, everyday people, and probably even this Attorney General, this what is it? Yeah, Attorney General, DA, whoever this person was in Manhattan. Probably the same thing applies. So they're gonna get this document and they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know. They're just gonna be like, okay, we got this. Now what? Hey, here you go. Hey, look through this and tell me what you find. That's what this is. So, folks, all I'm saying is be careful what it is that you're trying to prove or you're trying to get after, because at the end of the day, when it backfires or you find yourself subjugated to this type of scrutiny, then you're gonna be screaming foul and saying, "Oh, this is not fair. Oh, they're persecuting me," and blah blah blah. Same things that President Trump is saying right now. Same things. And then we also have to look at this impeachment inquiry and where this is going. Now you have some members in the GOP that are, I'm not gonna say against it, but they're kind of like speaking out in favor of this impeachment inquiry because, once again, we have to think there's a lot of people within the Congress, both the House and the Senate, that have dealings, in their personal lives with businesses, other countries, what have you. And so now they're like, whoa, wait a minute, there's whistleblowing going on. There's this dirt that's being dug up because of some backroom shady business going on and everything else. Nope, we got to put a stop to this. We're gonna go after him. And nobody's focusing on the actual facts of where Joe Biden actually was on camera in an interview admitting to this stuff. Nobody's focusing on that. Why? Because guess what? He and his family profited off of this. Members of Congress perhaps profited off of these kind of businesses and whatever else. And I mean, we have to think about this. A member of Congress makes ballpark 125, 150 grand a year, right? They leave office, they do other things, whatever else. Next thing you know, 2-3 years later, they're like millionaires. I need to know who your investment team is. Hey, hook me up. So, got it. Book deals, speaking engagements. I got all that. But nonetheless, unless you're eating ramen noodles and tuna fish every day, there's just no way. I'm gonna be real. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing these things out there just for the for earthlings to think about. I'm saying earthlings because not everybody that follows this are just in the United States. There are people around the world in other countries that watch this show, and they send me messages and everything else, and have to copy and paste into Google Translate to figure out what they're saying and asking. And so this is what it is, folks. So, uh, woo, folks, we're setting ourselves up for utter failure. We have to be careful. 4 more years or 1 more year. You know, we're looking at 5 years tops, 5 years of anything that's dealing with this administration, and then we move on to the next thing. Then what? I think there's going to either be a lot of bored people or a lot of upset people that, you know, they just find themselves extremely bored because they have nothing left to talk about now. So, hey, it is what it is. But I'm gonna jump to commercial break. We'll be right back after this short message.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
There's not much time. You got to be miles away from here for dawn. Where is she? Follow that North Star. If there are no stars, just follow the river. Listen for them. Fear is your enemy. Whoa, easy now.
I'm gonna be free or die.
I don't know if you know how extraordinary this is, but you have made it 100 miles to freedom all by yourself. Would you like to pick a new name to mark your freedom?
Harriet Tubman. You are welcome here anytime. If I'm free, my family should be too. I made up my mind, I'm going back. You're confident, composed. When trouble comes, you'll be ready.
Papers. Says here you're 5.5 feet tall. You ain't more than 5 feet.
Must have won my high boots that day.
Why you back here? It ain't safe.
I come to get you. Bring all of you to freedom.
Do you know what would happen if you got caught? You got lucky, Harriet.
I made it this far on my own, so don't you tell me what I can't do.
Harriet, welcome to the Underground Railroad. Everybody, everywhere is looking for you.
God don't mean people to own people.
Find this thief and burn her at the stake.
Harriet!
I would give every last drop of blood in my veins until this monster called slavery is dead. Ready?
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Hey, welcome back. So, a couple more weeks, and the movie Harriet will be out. I can't wait. Oh my God, I hope I'm not disappointed. You will know if I'm disappointed, because I've been anticipating this for 2 months now, and I utterly cannot wait for this movie because it just looks so good. And by me being a student of history, yeah. Anyways, Ecuador. Yeah, I know, folks. I know. Ecuador. What about Ecuador, Randy? Spit it out. Ecuador had 477 people arrested. 477 Ecuadorians arrested over a course of 5 days because President President Lenin Moreno increased the diesel gas price overnight to eliminate subsidies that resulted in the increase in diesel gas prices. And so people just lost their minds and they protested. They destroyed all kinds of property. More so, they destroyed a dozen ambulances and everything else. And now the Minister of Interior, Paula Romo, said that it has gotten to the point of catastrophe because all these people across Ecuador, particularly in the city of Quito, have literally like just destroyed the town. And matter of fact, I got you. Hook you up. I'm gonna hook you up like a tow truck. I actually have a video on this.
Cientos de estudiantes universitarios se manifestaron en el centro histórico de Quito, donde se encuentra la sede del Ejecutivo, en una protesta liderada por los transportistas en contra de la elevación del precio de los combustibles tras la eliminación de subsidios. Los policías con equipos antimotines dispersaron las manifestaciones con gran cantidad de gases lacrimógenos y agredieron incluso con ese producto a periodistas y fotógrafos, entre ellos el cámara de la agencia EFE y el diario El Comercio. Además de rechazar el alza de los combustibles, los manifestantes pedían la salida del poder del jefe de Estado Lenín Moreno. En los alrededores de la Universidad Central, en el centro norte de Quito, los manifestantes portaban carteles en rechazo a lo que consideran un paquetazo económico de Moreno. Aunque al inicio del día las protestas se limitaron a la falta de circulación de transporte público, con el avance de las horas se registraron bloqueo de carreteras con la quema de neumáticos y ramas de árboles en distintas ciudades. Por su parte, el presidente de Ecuador, Lenín Moreno, dispuso este jueves el estado de excepción en el país.
Con el fin de precautelar la seguridad ciudadana y evitar el caos, he dispuesto el estado de excepción a nivel nacional.
Desde el Palacio de Carondelet, el Ejecutivo reiteró además la apertura al diálogo.
Siempre estaremos dispuestos a ceder espacios que no comprometan bajo ninguna circunstancia la ética y la moral, la transparencia con la que se ha conducido siempre este gobierno.
El pasado martes, Moreno firmó un decreto para eliminar desde hoy los subsidios al diésel y a la gasolina extra, con lo cual el precio estará ahora en función de los valores internacionales. Y en ese sentido, los escenarios que se prevén denotan que el galón de diésel podría pasar de $1,03 a $2,27, mientras que la gasolina extra de $1,85 a $2,30.
So in other words, what she said was, they out there destroying stuff. They mad about these gas prices. Well, diesel gas prices being inflated overnight because of the subsidies that's being removed to help try to stimulate a further economic growth pattern in that country. Now, folks, I'm a reasonable guy, and I understand their frustration and anger if you are the one who utilizes diesel fuel. Now, not everybody in that country or in this protest probably utilizes diesel fuel. It's just the probability. I don't know Ecuador. I've never been there, but I'm just gonna make an uneducated assumption that nine times out of 10, not everybody that's in the streets protesting and rioting and looting. Come on now, I'm from Chicago. Okay, I understand rioting and looting, and 9 times out of 10, when there's rioting and looting going on, you don't even know what they're rioting and looting about. You just know I need to get those new pair of Jordans and some jeans and that hoodie, while I got the opportunity. Let's be real, okay? So not to make joke or make fun of their plight, I'm sure there is a valid and legitimate reason for the upset. But folks, when you're rioting and you're protesting and it turns from being peaceful to destruction and you start tearing up things, you are going to eat up that cost at the end of the day. Whether you are arrested, whether you are paying more in taxes or more in goods or whatever, there's some kind of economic um, punishment, for lack of better words, that you as a consumer will endure. Because the government's not gonna say, okay, all right, we messed up. Here's a check. All right, y'all destroyed the city. Okay, got it. Here. Let's fix everything. Okay, everything's always good. No, and nowhere, no place in the world has ever done that. You found yourself on the brunt end of paying more, whether it was 2 cents or $2 more for something as a result of a riot or a protest. Now, like I said, it's not to make fun or to marginalize the people of Ecuador and what they're going through. I'm sure there is a legit and valid complaint to be made about the increase in diesel costs overnight. Just all of a sudden, boom, we wake up. Yesterday you spent $1 on a gallon of diesel. Now today you're spending $2. I get it. I got it. I'll be pissed too. Trust me. I got you. But nonetheless, you incurring more economic damage to yourself. Now it's gonna be $3 because things gotta get fixed. Vehicles, generators, and everything else that run on diesel are not gonna be put into motion to fix the things that you jacked up because you was pissed at this jack up of a price in the first place. So I mean, the second and third order effects, folks, that we have to think about here. So it is what it is, and we're seeing the same things right now in China. Over in China, Hong Kong particularly in Hong Kong, they're going through the exact same thing right now. They're still protesting. They're almost in, I want to say it's week 19 now, in protest behind, at first it was the extradition laws that I can't call her name right now, I apologize, but one of the not prime minister, but one of their parliament members or whoever, somebody who's in charge, put in place, and well, it actually wasn't even put in place. It was brought to vote, and it didn't even pass. It was just a fact of, how dare you put this up here for vote? How dare you try to, incorporate this into our country? So people have been rioting until she withdrew or rescinded this bill, and it just went on for weeks. And then finally she was like, okay, all right, fine. Democracy, okay, in the name of democracy, is done. Stop what you're doing. They still went on. And then now the Hong Kong authorities have implemented and passed a no mask law, to where if you're wearing masks and you're protesting or demonstrating, then you'll be arrested. So far, as of to this day, there have been 2 arrested. Last weekend, one person was shot behind these protests. Now, all in the name of democracy, and they're trying to change the autocratic / communist rule of China and Hong Kong and everything else. There are people that are getting seriously injured and everything else. And this is the turmoil that we are seeing on the other side of the pond that can easily filter over into other countries if things are not under control. Now, currently with Brexit has 3 more weeks before it's either a deal or a no deal Brexit. People are already protesting and losing their minds about this. One guy last weekend, kid you not, I gotta remove my glasses for this one. Because when I saw this story, I was like, huh? One guy stood in front of Parliament, in front of not Buckingham Palace, but Downing Street, where the MPs, the members of Parliament, meet and all that. This guy douses himself in fuel and lights himself on fire in protest of Brexit. Now, I could appreciate his passion. I just can't appreciate his stupidity. Now, had he doused one of the members of Parliament, it might be a different conversation. But I'm not condoning violence or anything like that. I'm just saying we just have to think about some of the things that we do, and that was not smart. So, but that's what these are times that we're facing, folks, is that you have all these issues across the world, across the globe, that you sitting at home or sitting wherever you may be, you're not really paying attention to, but it actually affects you, or there's a trickle down effect that will eventually come knocking at your door. So I highly implore you to take the time to just scan what's going on around the world. You know, I'm not saying you have to be like well versed and super immersed in what's going on, but just kind of like just get information overload, a couple of days, a week, you know, just getting different things so you'll at least be privy or aware of what's going on in other places and how it may affect you, or how it can influence leaders of your country to incorporate things that will affect you. Because people sit around and like, that's a good idea, we should try that here. And that's when you know, you're like, where the hell did that come from? It happens. It happens, folks. So you kind of gotta be careful with this stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna jump to a short break. We'll be right back after this short break.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Oh, talk to me. It's just me and you. I feel so lost, 'cause I don't know what to do. Now what if I choose the wrong thing to do? I'm so afraid of disappointing you. So I need to talk to you and ask you for your guidance, especially today when my life is so cloudy. Guide me until I'm sure I open my heart.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
I don't want to say twice or for the 100th time what you've or how much you've taken from us. I think you know that. But I hope you go to God with all the guilt, the bad things you may have done in the past. Each and every one of us may have done something that we're not supposed to do. If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself. I forgive you. And I know if you go to God and ask Him, He will forgive you. And I don't think anyone could say it. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not even behalf of my family. But I love you just like anyone else. And I'm not gonna say I hope you rot and die just like my brother did, but I personally want the best for you. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you. Because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do. And the best would be give your life to Christ. I'm not gonna say anything else. I think giving your life to Christ would be the best thing that both of them would want you to do. Again, I love you as a person. And I don't wish anything bad on you. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
Touching. That's all I can say. Folks, if you don't know by now, I don't know where the hell you been, but if you don't know by now, that was Amber Geiger being, I don't know how to put it, being consoled by Botham Jean's brother. I just back up. Last year, Botham Jean was sitting in his apartment in Dallas, Texas, and given that Amber Geiger, was a police officer, she was coming off duty, everything else, going home, and she walked into, allegedly, mistakenly walked into the wrong apartment, thinking it was her home, and saw a perpetrator or an intruder in her home, or she presumed it was her home, and she opened fire on this person. Now, barring all of that, barring the BS that surrounds that story, trial happens. This is the end of the trial, and this is kind of like the impact statement from family members, friends, and what have you, as to what she did or what the accused has done in a way to impact the family. And so the sentencing had already been dished out. She's facing 10, she's going to be doing 10 years in prison. So she was found guilty and everything else. What I'm illustrating here is this Brandt Jean, both of them Jean's brother, the one you just saw, he exhibited, displayed, exemplified the true meaning of love, forgiveness, coping, Jesus-like, God-like. Like you cannot and you will not, I promise you won't find anything else like that in the world. This dude was like the second coming of Gandhi, okay? That is like, kid you not. I am being utterly serious. And what pisses me off about this particular situation is social media, particularly Black Twitter and Black Facebook, admonishing, castigating, denigrating, belittling this young man for this act of courage that he did towards this woman who cold-bloodedly, at the end of the day, murdered his brother, his older brother, his role model. He said, I cannot go on to hate you. I forgive you. I want nothing but the best for you. I don't even want you to go to jail. Who the hell says that? And mean it. Now, a few days later, just recently, he did another press conference. He's like, I didn't even know the cameras was on. I thought everything was done and over with. I was just speaking from my heart. I ain't expect to get this kind of backlash and everything else. Folks, you ought to be damn ashamed of yourselves. Seriously. I am talking to Earth America, Earth world, Earthlings. You Earthlings, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves the way you have been treating this young man who suffered a loss, an unexpected loss at that. And this is his mechanism. This is his way to cope with it by saying, you know what? In order for me to have peace in heart, peace in soul, peace of mind, I forgive you. I just want to move on with my life. No, it doesn't change what happened. No, it doesn't change what you did. But I hope you find God. I hope you find Jesus to change your life, to change your ways. At least that's some measure of closure for me. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to rest my soul. I'm going to rest my spirit with the Lord, with God, and say, you know what? This is in your hands. This is part of a bigger design, a bigger understanding than me, and I choose to give it to you. How dare you have something to say about that? Because we all respond differently. That's what makes us unique as human beings. We all respond differently to everything. I've seen over the course of 25 years of dealing with people publicly and everything else, actually longer than that, but okay, we'll just say, you know, in big spheres and what have you. I've seen all sorts of ways people have dealt with death, dealt with birth, dealt with tragedy of, you know, catastrophic results, I seen the whole gamut. Almost. This by far is probably one of the first, I would say. I've seen similar, but this is by far the first. And for people to say, how dare he? I couldn't do it. Okay, that's you. That one thing we can mutually agree on is you identify what you would not be able to do. But don't you sit here and how dare you sit here and say that how dare he? Got it. Nothing wrong with it. I applaud you for recognizing your faults and your shortcomings, but nonetheless, don't you dare condemn somebody else for overcoming their shortfalls and their shortcomings. Folks, that's all the time I have for tonight. Jump on Amazon, pick up my book, The New Now Equipped with Wisdom, e-Kindle format. I appreciate you all tuning in tonight. Take care. God bless you all. I will see you all next week. I have some more engagements to deal with this week, also next week. But next Monday, I will be on, I believe. If not, I apologize once again. So, anyways, you can follow me on Twitter at rperm. You can catch me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, our parent page, TECN. Go to our website, www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. You can find all the highlights, everybody, all of my colleagues' shows, times, and when they air. You can catch archives and everything else, articles of different events that's going on, and the whole shebang. We are Urban Conservative Network, and we do a great job in presenting to you what it is that you need to know. Not what you want to know, not what you want to hear, but what you need to know. Thank you. God bless you all, and we'll catch you all next week. Take care.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
I'm rich, yeah!